There's a woman of Newark, New Jersey, named Maria Fernandes. She's 32 years old, and she's quite possibly the single hardest worker I've ever heard of. She works 4 jobs. She was born in Portugal, and she emigrated to the United States. One of her jobs was at the Penn Station Dunkin' Donuts, and she regularly would work 3 shifts. Again, that's something that's unheard of. I mean, I've heard of 2 shifts, people working a double, but 3 is out of this world. So her coworkers say that sometimes she would go 5 straight days with very little sleep. She's also apparently a very fun and jovial person. She's a huge Michael Jackson fan. In fact, she never takes vacation, but she actually planned her one vacation around his birthday. She's going to take the week off for his birthday. And supposedly, like, when a Michael Jackson song would come on at work, like, she would mouth it and do the dance and everything. So she's a person that made everybody around her very happy. And remember, she's not working 4 jobs for the hell of it. Like, oh, I would do 2, but gosh golly, I just want to take on an extra 2 jobs because I'd love to have 4. No, she's doing it to make ends meet. She wasn't rich, clearly. She was busting her ass simply to make ends meet. Well, she just died in the most heartbreaking way imaginable. She was napping in her car between jobs. She fell asleep before she could turn off the car. So the carbon monoxide mixed with fumes from an overturned gas container killed her. The mix of those 2 things got in her system and killed her. Now, some of you may disagree with some of what I'm about to say here, and you might say it's a stretch. But in all seriousness, I blame the system for the death of Maria Fernandes. Because, look, this is a very simple, logical path. If the minimum wage was a living wage, maybe she doesn't work 4 jobs. And look, maybe she still goes above and beyond because she wants to make more money than just having a living wage. So maybe she takes on 2 jobs. Maybe she still has 3 jobs, even if you had the minimum wage at $12 an hour, which is a living wage according to a lot of economists. So I get it. I'm not totally rewriting everything here and saying, well, she could go from 4 jobs to 1. No, maybe she still would have had 2. Maybe in the rare circumstance she might have had 3. But she definitely wouldn't have had 4 if the minimum wage was a living wage. And guess what? She wouldn't have had to sleep in her car in between shifts to make it to her next job. So she wouldn't have died. Now, look, it is a fair point for people to respond and say, well, you're not... I mean, it was an accident, so how can you really say something like that because she forgot to turn off the car, and then the gas container fell over, and the fumes happened, and this and that, blah, 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 blah. And I get it, man. Look, I'm not pounding the gavel here or saying anything with 100% certitude or saying, like, if you don't agree with me on this, you're somehow crazy. No, I get it. There's room for nuanced and reasonable disagreement here, but can anybody... deny that there's at least a grain of truth in that? She's working 4 jobs. Because she's working 4 jobs, she has to sleep in her car in between to make it because of time purposes and time restrictions. So, as a result of that, the accident happened. If that wasn't the scenario she was in, the accident wouldn't have happened. And I understand this is one case and some hardcore Republicans might fire back, I don't know why, and say, yeah, but that's just one person who died from the insane wage slavery we have going on in the U.S., where you can work a full-time job and not make enough money to survive. But is that really a counter-argument? That's my question. Isn't it simply a common-sense position? And I know that term is so abused and misused and put through the ringer to the point where it almost has no meaning at this point. But if there was ever such thing as a common sense position, wouldn't it be if you work a full-time job, you should make enough money to survive? Period. I don't think that's that radical. I know over 80% of the American people agree with that sentiment. So why do we still have a system set up where we have to hear about a story like Maria Fernandes, where people have to work 3 jobs in order to pay the bills, where as a result of that, sometimes there are kids that come home and there's nobody there to look after them. Why? Because the parents are working so hard just to keep the fucking lights on. There's a problem with how we're doing it right now. And I don't want to go too far off into the weeds here, but a lot of it has to do with the fact that the corporations have bought the government. They now own the government. So even when over 80% of the American people say, stop it, raise the minimum wage. What are you, stupid? Do it. The government doesn't do it. The politicians don't act. Why? Because they're getting all of their campaign dollars from Walmart and McDonald's and Wendy's and ExxonMobil and all these different corporations, whether they're multinational corporations or whether they're Wall Street firms and investment banks. And they all have the same agenda. Keep the wages for the workers incredibly low and give us more profit so we can pad our bottom lines.